And yeah, I'm just going to start you reading right now for Virgo. So the first card you have your past is the Five of Swords, yes. So yeah, this is about defeat, surrender, having things taken away. I think you're on the outside kind of watching something happening, and I think you could see that something was going to happen, and you were kind of thinking, will I step in and do something, or will I just stand back and watch this? And this was a bit like a disaster waiting to happen. And I think, I think you were backwards and forwards with this a bit. I think you'd kind of come to the conclusion that you'd kind of let them do this thing, and then you'd let them kind of reap what they sowed. But it was very difficult for you. It was very difficult for you because I think you had a kind of you felt some obligation to protect them in some way, but then you're kind of like, no. They need to stand, they need to stand on their own 2 feet. They need to kind of deal with this. If they're doing this, doing this wrong thing, they're going to have to deal with the consequences. It's that. So you're kind of backwards and forwards. Should I do something? Should I not? Now, I think you tried to advise them on something, not to do whatever they were doing, but they didn't listen to you. I'm just getting this feeling that maybe this is about pretending that they knew more than they did, or pretending they had some kind of qualification or experience. It's something like that. They were pretending to be more than they were, and you were kind of thinking, this is going to get them into trouble, especially if this is around work, if they're kind of saying, well, oh, I want to get this job, but I've got this qualification, but they don't really. That kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. Now, I think you're right. I think they are going to be found out. And I think they're going to learn this lesson, and they're going to learn it by themselves. So that tells me that you're probably, they're not going to listen to you no matter what you say. So they're going to have to learn this the hard way. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I think when they do learn this lesson, when they are dragged down and they do have these problems or whatever happens after this, just be a bit careful, because I think they might try to drag you down with them in some way, if that makes sense. Because I've got this idea that, or I'm getting this sense that they think that you're responsible for them in some way, or they think that they should have your back no matter what happens. And yeah, they do have your back, but not when it's something like this, not when they're pretending this, or they're doing something that could get them into trouble, and they could get you into trouble as well if you went along with this. So I am seeing a distancing as well, but this is very difficult for you. This is something that you don't want to do. You're very close to this person, and you don't like to see them doing this to themselves, but you also can't be a part of this, because they'll drag you down with them. So there's a whole lot of thing there. There's all this kind of thing going on with this person. But if you are going to distance yourself from this whole situation, and you are deciding just to let them go and not being a part of this anymore, I think you're doing the right thing. Because I think even if you did try to keep on advising them or telling them what to do, I don't think they'd listen. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the next card you have your past is the Ace of Swords. So here it is again, this kind of, I'm just looking at this sword, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like, will I help them or won't I? Should I do this or not? I know the truth about this. I know that they're pretending they're this thing, but they're not actually what they're pretending to be, because this card is about clarity as well. So you have clarity on this situation, and these other people that they're kind of pretending in front of don't have the clarity that you have. So that kind of puts extra pressure on you as well. And also the fact that you feel a bit responsible for them as well, that puts another lot of pressure on you, or it did at this time. This is in the past. I think this person might actually be a sibling of yours or something like that. I am seeing a younger family member. So that might be why you kind of feel responsible for them, or you might have been pressured by other family members to feel responsible for them for a long, long time. But this person's an adult. They might be younger than you, but they're an adult. So they need to learn their own lessons. They need to find this out on their own. And I think this is what you are realizing. This is what you are discovering. And again, even if you spoke to them, which you did, I think, they weren't listening anyway. So there was nothing you could do anyway. So don't feel guilty or bad about this, because you did try, and you don't want to drag yourself into this again, because you might be in trouble yourself. That's what I keep on seeing in this. So, I know this is in the past, but it's kind of an ongoing situation. And so, yeah, and there's a lot of guilt around this as well. So, I just wanted to point that out to you, that you're doing the right thing. So the last card you have, your past, is the Knight of Swords. So this is the reading of swords, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you were getting away from all of this kind of feeling responsible for them anyway, even without this situation. I think you felt as if you had to kind of distance yourself from this person as well. Because I think you felt that they had to stand on their own 2 feet. They weren't doing this. They were very irresponsible. They were doing all these kinds of things, and they really needed to be on their own for their own sake anyway, even without this situation. Now, there were some other people you're kind of moving away from as well. You weren't kind of not speaking to people or kind of, being horrible toward people, but you're just kind of, well, they need to be by themselves for their sake. I need to be by myself for this sake, because this is a lot of stress for me as well. Now, this person might have seen you distancing yourselves from them and saying, well, I'm not going to, I know you do have my back normally, but in this you're not going to, because I'm not going to condone this thing. So they might have seen it as a slight. They might have thought that you were like this Knight of Swords, being rude, being horrible to them, and just not really thinking. But you were thinking. You thought this through very, very carefully. So they had this impression of you being really horrible, rude to them. You weren't like that at all, but I think that was just, I think this is the sort of person that if anyone goes against them, they kind of start to think that they're a horrible person. It's that kind of thing. You're not like that. And again, don't let their feelings towards you put pressure on you to, go back into this again and be responsible for them again and kind of do all of that, because really this is something that is not right, and you know that. If this is all resonating with you, I know this is specific. So the first card you have your present is the Seven of Swords. Yeah. Swords, swords, swords. So again, I think this is about the same person again. They're going to be caught out. This is what I'm seeing. They're going to be hurt by their own actions. I know that sounds horrible, but they're not going to get away with whatever this says. What I'm seeing is I'm seeing a climb up to a certain point, and this is probably in career, I think, because I am seeing something about experience, qualifications, or they're kind of pretending that there's something they're not. That's what I'm seeing. So they're going to climb up to a certain point, and then they're going to have a big fall. And when they have this big fall, I think they're going to lose a lot of people around them. I think they had a crowd of people around them probably saying, oh, you're fantastic, believing what they were saying. And then when they have this fall, I'm really seeing them being left alone. And it sounds really sad. And I know you're going to feel sad about this, because it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? You don't need to do this to yourself. If you're only honest with people, then you'd be fine. You might climb a bit slower, but you'd get there. But you've chosen this wrong way to go about things. So yeah, and so yeah, they are going to hurt themselves. Look at this man. He's holding these swords, and he thinks he's getting away with things. He's kind of laughing. He's stealing the swords. He's like, haha, I've gotten away with this. He's holding the swords by the blades. So he's going to hurt himself. And that's what's going to happen to him. And that's what he deserves. It sounds horrible, but he deserves to be hurt because he's done something wrong. So that's what's going to happen to this person. They're going to do this to themselves. So again, you don't even have to step in. They're going to learn their own lesson. That's what I'm seeing. And I think that you might have had a similar thing in a past reading. So this is still coming about. So this might be when this actually happens now. So yeah, the next card you have your present is the Two of Swords. So again, I think I don't think you're the only person that's spoken to them or tried to warn them against doing this thing. I think some other people might have tried to do that as well. And again, they weren't listening. I mean, look at the woman on this card. She's blindfolded. She's saying, no, 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 I'm not listening. She has her swords up like that beside her, so no one can come near her. If anyone wanted to come and whisper in her ear and say, you know, you should do this, you know, you're doing the wrong thing, they can't get near her because the swords are there. So she's not listening. And so, yeah, that's the result of that. So, yeah, this is a lesson for them. This is a lesson for them. They're going to learn this. So the last card you have for your present is the Nine of Cups. So, yeah, there's someone who wants to talk to you. I think you might have had, I think you might have had a kind of a brief, some kind of brief love connection. Might have been a friends with benefits or something like that, but it was something that was kind of very brief. And then there's a little bit of tension around this because I think one person might have been a little bit fonder of you know, a little bit kind of, someone let their feelings get in the way of what this was, I think, and one person liked the other one more than the other one. That's what I'm seeing. I can't quite see who this is. Now, it was some kind of brief encounter, it was something like that. It might have just been friends that didn't quite develop into something else. It wasn't a full relationship, but it was something on the borderline of that. That's what I'm seeing with this. Now, this person wants to come back and they want to talk to you. And I think they might have a chance meeting, or it might be something that might seem like a chance meeting, but actually they've been thinking about you and they've engineered this. They think they're very smart. I mean, look at this man. He's so smug. Now, it might have been you that had feelings for them, and you might have been a little bit hurt by this, because I think what's going to happen is they're going to come back, they're going to want to talk to you, they're going to want to come close to you, they're going to want to start something that might lead to something serious with you. And you're going to be thinking, wait a minute, you can't be that smug that you think I'm just going to walk back in and say yes straight away. And they are smug, and they are going to think that. They're going to think, oh yeah, I'm this great charming person. Of course they're going to say yes to me. Look at me, I'm me after all. Look, I've got these big golden cups above my head, and you know, I've got this big red hat, I'm passionate, and I'm fantastic, look at me. And you're going to be thinking, well, wait a minute. Actually, I secretly do think you are, you know, this great, the cool person, and I am attracted to you, but I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to just say to you, well, maybe, maybe not. You're sort of going to make them work a bit harder. Now, it sounds like I'm talking about game playing. I'm not talking about that. I think they deserve this, because look at them. They deserve it. So I think the ending in this is that you are going to probably become friends, become closer, and then that might turn into a relationship. It's going to be gradual. It's going to take a long, long time. And I think you are going to get into this place in the end, right at the end. You're going to feel very comfortable with them. They're going to feel very comfortable with you. It's going to happen very naturally. It's very, very, very nice. Very, very pleasant. This is the wish card. And I think once you wished you were going to be with them, and now you're getting this wish, but you're making them work for it. That's what I'm seeing, if this is resonating with you. So this is really, I like to see that. I like to see these smug people having to work. So the first card you have for your future is the Queen of Cups. So yeah, emotion, so much emotion. So this is what happened. I think it was you again who was more interested in them than they were with you at this time, back at whenever that was. And you are going to have these strong feelings for them again. But yeah, this is happening slowly. You're not going to let on. You're going to keep a lid on your emotions, because, you know, this queen has this cup and has a big lid on it. So that's what you're going to do. You're not letting on. You're going to keep them guessing a little bit. And that's what feminine energy is about. I'm not saying you're a woman and they're a man. I'm just talking about what's in this Queen of Cups. And, you know, this queen is, you know, extremely feminine. And femininity is all about a little bit of mystery, a little bit of keeping someone guessing, a bit of being alluring, emotional, all of that kind of thing. Again, I'm not saying you're a woman, you might be a man, I don't know, but this is about the Queen of Cups. This is the Queen of Cups energy. So you're going to keep a lid on your emotions. They're going to be guessing, and I think this is going to be a good lesson for them as well. There are a lot of lessons in this reading, so they're going to learn this lesson. They're not going to be 100% sure about how you feel in the beginning, but I think gradually it is going to have this really nice, comfortable, very slow turning into friendship, and then gradually turning into some kind of a relationship. That's what I'm seeing, because you do have feelings for them. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for future is the Seven of Wands. Sorry, not this. Yeah, the Seven of Wands. I don't know why I'm saying swords. I know why, because there's swords everywhere. I just keep on seeing all these swords, so I nearly said the Seven of Swords. Yeah, Seven of Wands. So, yeah. I hate saying this because I'm always being accused of trying to make people feel paranoid, and I don't want to do that. Again, this is about this person, this sibling or whoever this is, who's learning a lesson, this person who's done the wrong thing. Now, they're going to have this fall, they're going to fall down, they're going to be by themselves. I think what's going to happen is family is going to kind of rally around them, lift them up, because I do think there's someone who's younger than you. There might be a younger sibling. I'm seeing that again. They might be the baby of the family. It might be that, or they might just be someone who people always feel as if they have to protect and take care of. And I think that's the energy I'm feeling around this. And I think there are going to be a group of people who might put pressure on you to take care of them. You might even be under pressure to have them stay at your home. It might be that. And that's what I'm seeing in this card. This man's kind of fighting off all these people. There's a lot of pressure. And he's saying, wait a minute, you know, just keep away for a while. Let me think. Stop doing this. Stop poking your wands at me. And so it's up to you, of course, whether you want to help this person out or not. 100% up to you. What I suggest you do is, because I am seeing all this pressure with family or people around them, and also maybe coming from that person again, get away from the whole thing for a while, get some time to yourself, think about this, make sure this is 100% your decision before you decide to either take them in or not. Then come back and then make the decision. I don't want to tell you what to do one way or the other, but I'm getting a very strong feeling that this needs to be your decision. Don't be pressured. That's the message I'm getting around that. The last card you have for your future is the Three of Wands. So yeah, again, this is the waiting card. This is the waiting card. Now, you're worth waiting for. I can tell you that. You know that. And this person in the Nine of Cups is going to wait for you. You're going to make them wait. You're going to make them wait. They deserve to wait, because they did hurt you a bit last time. They were a little bit smug. They thought they were fantastic, you know, and then they were coming in again another time to talk to you, and they were smug again. So you're going to make them wait. It's going to be a long wait for them, and it's going to be a gradual time where they come back and make friends with you, and then you're going to really come together. It's going to be a very, very, very beautiful ending I'm seeing. But you're going to make them wait in the meantime, and they're going to be, well, not happy about it, but they're going to be prepared to wait. They're going to come to this realization that you're worth waiting for this time, and they're going to wait for you. That's what I'm seeing in that card.